Well, Greg, one of the hardest things to do when it comes to tithing is simply trusting God, simply trusting that He will provide for our needs and we don't have to solely rely on ourselves. You were telling me about a story from the book The Grave Robber by Mark Batterson. Tell the congregation a little bit about that story of multiplication.
Yeah, Batterson is a pastor up in Washington, D.C., and in this book, he tells the story of something that happened to a friend of his. The guy's name is Joel Clark, and at the point of the story, he'd been on staff in Johannesburg for about a decade, but he was going through what people often go through in their spiritual walks and what pastors even struggle with. He was at a really low point in his relationship with God. He was low on money, he was low on morale, and he just felt his heart starting to harden toward God. Well, late one night, he just decided that he was going to do a McDonald's run. He was going to go, he didn't have much money, he'd get him a simple meal and just try to forget about all of the struggles that he was going through.
Some comfort food.
Yeah, some comfort food. And he said he was so focused on himself that he barely noticed the 5 street children that were in the parking lot as he entered McDonald's. Well, he got into McDonald's and he said for the first time in a long time, he felt the Holy Spirit speak directly to his spirit. And he did not like what the Spirit said.
Because he was broke.
He was broke, and the Spirit told him to take the little bit of money that he had and buy hamburgers for the children in the parking lot. He knew he didn't have enough money to buy his meal and their meal, so he was angry, he was bitter about it, but he decided to be obedient. So he ordered 5 junior cheeseburgers and then went back out into the parking lot. When he got into the parking lot, he discovered that the number of street children there had doubled. He thought at first about tearing the burgers in 2 and giving half to each child, but instead he just began to reach into the bag and hand out the cheeseburgers. He said he didn't know how it happened. He doesn't know if because it was close to closing time that McDonald's just threw in some extra cheeseburgers, or if God did a loaves and fishes thing. But every child got a cheeseburger, and as he handed the last cheeseburger to the last child, he looked in the bag, and to his surprise, there was one more cheeseburger for him.
Wow.
And, he didn't do it with the right attitude. But despite doing the right thing with the wrong attitude, God still showed up.
It can just be so hard to trust God, and we can hear story time and time again about how God will provide for our needs.
Well, we'll see you on Sunday. And Sunday, as I preach, I recognize many of you already tithe and are very faithful in this area. Some of you, this is an area where you have an opportunity to grow. You will be invited to take a 90-day trust test and commit to tithe for 90 days and just see what God will do. Just see how God will show up in your life. So we'll see you Sunday.